Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to share with you this recent story opinion about the situation in Ukraine in relation to possible conflict with Russia and the United States. And this article is mentioning the fact that there is a current United States occupation of Syria, and there is the risk of further escalation because of this, and is probably out of people's minds currently because in the mainstream media the attention is focused on the situation in Ukraine, but this is probably one very possible hotspot in the area. So let me remind you where is the occupation in United States. This is the area that United States is occupying in Syria. So you can see it here. Is this area that is the border with Turkey. So is the northeast part. Is a considerable part, is about a third. A third of the country is illegally occupied by United States, and they have I think Trump, when he was president, he acknowledged that he was there so that he will deny access to the oil-rich regions of Syria to the government of Syria. So yes, bear in mind that the United States never declared war on Syria. They unilaterally decided to occupy Syria, and this is not only the richest oil region of Syria, but is also the region with agricultural land, so is denying also the food for the people of Syria, and this is forcing the Syrian government to import a lot of food. Basically, they were self-sufficient in both in income through oil exports and food through the region, and now they are fully dependent on food imports. They are no longer food independent. So this is the area where the United States is occupying. And then there is the situation that the Syrian government invited Russia to assist during the civil war. And during the civil war, the United States was supporting a lot of militias against the Syrian government illegally, like terrorist activities. Basically, that's what the United States was sponsoring. Terrorist activities in the region against the Syrian government, and later this got out of hand and developed in what they call the ISIS, but it's not an excuse. Officially, ISIS was defeated. So this is also the region where the Kurds are. So this is the Kurdish forces occupation, so they overlap with the area where the United States is occupying. So this is the border with Turkey, and there is a portion that Turkey is occupying. But recently, if you have been following the news, Turkey plans to create some kind of buffer zone along all the border with Syria, illegally, of course, as well. They have no legal right to occupy sovereign country. They didn't declare war, but they get away with it because the United States supports them and because they have military power, so they can do whatever they want, So this is the sad situation for the Syrian land. But the main thing is that there is high possibility of conflict between Russian forces and US forces. The United States maintains about 900 effective military personnel in the area. So this is a constant source of possible conflict that could flare up, and it will escalate beyond Syria, because the Russian government operates here with Air Force mainly. I think there is not much of a normal army presence in Syria, maybe some trainers, but mostly operates with Air Force and maybe a naval vessel might be in the area. So there is a high chance of conflict, and here is the thing, that the United States has no interest there, like no legitimate interest. There is nothing affecting American interest there, so they're just doing it to affect the Syrian government. They want to overthrow the government, but with Russia support, the Syrian government defeated the opposition, so the civil war ended and the Syrian government won the civil war. So American troops are basically training enemies of ISIS. That's what they say they are doing, limiting the Assad regime's oil access, conducting strikes against groups including ISIS and targets linked to Al-Qaeda, but also the Syrian government and Iran-backed militias. So they are all over the place doing whatever they want. They feel like they are doing something positive because they're training enemies of ISIS. What about just withdraw and let people live in peace, no? So they say the author of this article is suggesting that a complete withdrawal from Syria should be done. On its time, Trump promised to withdraw from Syria. In the end, he didn't do it. He even bombed Syria under false information that there was some kind of chemical attack, but it was all false. Regardless, Trump ordered some missile attack on Syrian government illegally again, but nobody can criticize the United States for doing that because they dominate the United Nations, so they do whatever they want. So there is a communication line between Russia and the United States, so they communicate with each other, and in general they actively try to avoid conflict with each other, but just bear in mind that Russia was invited by the sovereign country of Syria. They were invited to help them, so they have the legal right to be there. And then the United States says that Russia's behavior is provocative and escalatory. So who is provoking who? Anyway, what happens is that there's been a lot of incidents over the years mild problems between the United States and Russia. So far, there hasn't been any major incident, but the United States continues to feel like they have the right to be there, when that is not the truth, and they still condemning Russia. They are still condemning Russia. They say they are provoking, escalating. So this is just a hotspot. It can escalate, get out of control. You just need a small error, and someone can die. Either Russian soldiers or Russian pilots can die, or U.S. military personnel, someone there, an American, can die, and that will create a big problem for everyone involved, and this can escalate beyond the scope of just Syria. So they are saying, like a summary, they defeated ISIS. Assad's victory in the civil war was accomplished, and they say there is even the possibility of conflict with Turkey in the north, because of the fact that Turkey is their enemies are exactly the Kurds, and the Kurds are supported by the United States, so there is a conflict of interest there. So it will be in the interest of everyone if the US just withdrew. It will make the situation less complex. So that's basically it. I think this is very sensible advice. The United States should have withdrawn from there long time ago. They should have never even be there. What are they doing invading a sovereign country because they don't like the government? That's exactly what we were just recently describing, as the United States is the biggest state sponsor of terrorism worldwide. So let's see what happens. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. So as always, I ask you to please like this video, share it in social media, and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.